Welcome to the CPF application portal. The first screen that you will enter when you start the application process is the one that you see on the screen right now. Once you click Apply, you'll be prompted to go to your organization profile to start the application process. Some of this information will be imported from what you provided when you registered with the Challenge portal, but for illustration purposes, we're going to start with a blank screen. So you begin by putting in your organization name, your contact, and a phone number. There's also a space, provide an email address, and once all of the fields are completed, click Next. You must choose your type of organization and provide your FRN. You'll also have to provide your UEI and your Magic vendor number and upload your documentation with the Mississippi Secretary of State's office. There are some additional eligibility questions to fill out. And if you have any questions on these, there are instructions that are linked to the side. At any point in the application process, you can save, but this information does also save once you complete the section. Now you're being prompted to provide your company's experience. Please upload an existing network diagram that shows all components of your network. You can click to upload a file from your computer, and this is single upload or bulk upload. These other questions are also required to be answered. This is where you'll upload 3 years of historical financial statements. And then finally, the review tab shows you all of the questions that you just answered and gives you the opportunity to double check the responses to make sure they're complete and accurate. You'll click Save Profile and apply for a grant. So this is the screen that you'll see to start your application process. Just click Start New Application, and you'll choose a grant program, which is the Capital Projects Fund, along with the grant category. For information about the different grant categories that are available, you can refer to the Notice of Funding Opportunity that's linked here. For illustration purposes, we're going to click Broadband Infrastructure, and then you'll name your application. And click Create New Application. Once you click Create Application, the first step is to define the area for the application. The default view is all locations in the state of Mississippi, both eligible and ineligible. You can click these boxes to toggle on the visibility of those two categories. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new area. You'll give the area a name. And from here, you can upload a polygon of the area, draw area boundaries, or select the geographical area. If you choose this option, you can choose cities or other boundaries from this dropdown. Just for illustration, I'm going to draw some area boundaries. And click Save Application Area. Then we'll click on that area that we just created. It zooms in and shows some statistics about that area. And you click Next. On this screen, you'll upload your high-level design. There is a template that you can download. It's a KML format to open in Google Earth. This will show you the information that is needed for the high-level design, such as your fiber counts, handholds, towers, and other network equipment. So once you are done with your high-level design, you can upload it by clicking here. Click Next. And then you start filling out the various questions in the application. I forgot, this is a drop-down. This is where you will answer whether you are constructing the middle mile or the last mile, and you can choose both. Please specify what type of broadband construction is being proposed. Likewise, you may choose one or both of these options. Provide a brief executive summary of the project, description of the geographical coverage, and the infrastructure to be deployed in the project. And then upload your budgetary engineering designs, diagrams, and maps, where you enter information about what type of entity will own the network and operate the network. Answer questions about permits and whether the proposed project will promote job growth and retention, expand the property tax base, or improve the economic vitality of the region. Once you've answered these questions, click Next. I believe that it's not going to let me click Next because I did not fill out all of the information. So we'll go to an application that we've already completed in our office today. The next page is Project Scope Speeds. This is where you'll answer questions about the downloads and upload speeds of the proposed project. If the project does not meet the 100 megabits per second symmetrical threshold, this is where you'd upload plan justification. Click Next. This is where you upload the Gantt chart, network design, certifications, and a detailed description of the proposed network. And the next tab is the bill of materials. This is where you enter your costs of all of your equipment. These are some suggested or sample items. You can keep or delete these. You may also add items by clicking the Add Item button. Enter the unit cost, the quantity, and it calculates total cost. You'll note on this screen that the total cost does include cents, but on the next screen where we total equipment for your budget, all items will be rounded up to the nearest dollar. So when you hit Next, this is your project budget. Note that your equipment costs from the last tab are pre-populated in line 31, and it is rounded up to the nearest whole number from the bill of materials. But then you enter your administrative and legal expenses and the costs associated with the other categories on this screen. Total does calculate based on what's entered into the fields. And this number here in line 33 will need to total the line, total line that is number 39 on the next screen. We'll click next. For questions 34 and 35, this is where you would enter the amount of capital projects fund funding that you're asking for in your application, and also indicate the amount of match. Note the instructions that give you details on the amount of match that is required based on the type of application that you're submitting. Please describe all the funding sources that are used as match funding, whether this is going to be the company's own capital financing or a partner that is helping with the match amounts. And then this question asks for any other federal funding, and then please describe all funding sources used as federal funding. And again, this line 39 will total line 33 from the previous screen. If it does not, there's a pop-up that will indicate that you need to take a look at those. This is your budget overview. Explain the estimated total project cost, whether the match funds are being provided by a local government ARPA allocation, and then a place for each entity to upload their proposed pricing structure for the services that will be available to customers. Also upload financial metrics with grant funding and financial metrics without grant funding. These will need to be sufficient to illustrate the need for federal funding, and also provide details on how key metrics such as payback period or internal rate of return were calculated. There's also a question about the additional public benefit and justification for using CPF funds. There are a couple more questions, then you'll click next. And then these are questions on grant experience. Has the applicant ever been awarded federal or state grants? To provide evidence of experience with procurement guidelines, and then some risk tolerance or risk assessment questions, as well as a place to upload your single audits that have been performed over the last 3 years. And on this page, there are a couple additional questions asking, again, how much match capital is the applicant providing for this project, and how much has been secured from an outside source, and what type of financing is being used as the match. The next section is questions about affordability. Does the applicant participate in the Affordable Connectivity Program? A place to upload marketing materials, and other questions regarding affordability. These are questions about growth and scalability. Also, that the applicant commits to sustain the project for at least 5 years following the completion of the project build out. These questions are regarding permitting, easements, other types of permits, and also the environmental review requirements. And this page is about the community benefit. Please describe how this supports the program objectives and how it fits into an existing community strategic plan. We also ask for recent survey data about the community that will be impacted by the project, economic advances, workforce training, workforce development, and also provide a place to upload evidence of community support and ask details regarding community engagement. Finally, on this section, community statistics, please indicate the number of residences that will have service available as a result of the project. In other words, how many residences are being passed by the proposed project, the number of businesses, farms, and community anchor institutions. These fields must be numbers. Once you've completed all of the tabs, and you can go back and review the tabs during this process, just in case you forgot something or want to add more details, You may also save the application and come back to it later. But once you've completed all of the sections, the last tab is Review. This does provide, just like in the organization profile screen, a summary of all of the questions that you've completed. And if you have completed all of the required data points and questions, then this Submit Application button will be blue. If it is gray, that means that there's a piece of required information that has not yet been provided by the applicant. So you can look at this one more time. Click Save Application if you like, but it is automatically saved. And once you are satisfied with the responses that have been provided, then you can click Submit Application. The final step is this attestation, saying that you have legal authority to submit the application, that all application information is true and correct. And you can read these other statements also. You'll need to check each box to indicate that you have read each statement and agree with each statement. And submit. Once the application has been submitted, you are able to see those applications on the Apply tab. If you save and come back later, that's where those applications will be. And we wish you the best of luck. If any additional information is needed, then the BEAM team will reach out to you to request that information.